We ballin', boy. Back to the Wilcox Show on a Tuesday. As we get it popping up in here, man. Apologize for not being here yesterday, but like I said, man, first day of school. Had to get the youngins up out of here, out of the crib, back to school where they ass belong so we can learn stuff. And give me some peace and quiet and tranquility in my own house. So we're going to go to the Real Man Block guest line right now and talk to my man JT Wilcox, who will be along to give us the latest on what's going on with the Miami Hurricanes right here on the Jeff Fox Show. So, JT, what's good, man? Welcome to the show. How you doing? Hey, man, happy to have you back. Very happy as well that the Canes came in ranked, you know, in both polls. I think we're 18 in both polls, correct? And, man, I'm looking forward to an exciting season with this Miami Hurricanes football team. I was excited since Mark Richt got here, and the excitement has not tapered off at all.
No, I mean, and Mark Richt, the Mark Richt effect is still we're still feeling it, and it's something that is tangible and is only going to get better as he continues to recruit the kind of guys that, you know, the University of Miami needs to recruit. And, you know, they're starting to look like that SEC kind of team, you know, that you would see at a Georgia or like he was previously, or Alabama or something like that. So you're getting these big guys, fast guys, these versatile guys that are coming in and creating a level of competition within the team to where everybody has to bring their best every single day. And that's only going to make the University of Miami that much better for it.
No doubt. Now, the team made a decision at quarterback today announcing that junior Malik Rosier will be the guy. He will be the guy taking the snaps, named starting quarterback by Mark Richt. Tell me why you think Richt chose him, and are you comfortable with that decision?
Well, to answer your first question, I think it had to come down to the fact that he was the only quarterback on this roster that took a snap or made a pass in an actual college football game. You know, so just having that experience, having been there, you know, having sat behind Brad Hyatt this past season, sat in those quarterback rooms with Coach Richt all this past season, and soaking up all of that, and now, you know, he's after patiently waiting. Now's his time, and I think this has been an opportunity for him, and they've given him every opportunity, and up to this point, he's taking advantage of it to where he's separated himself enough to be named the starting quarterback. Am I comfortable with the decision? I am, because I've said before, I think he would be the choice, and he ultimately became the choice because of that experience, because he was like the least objectionable option there, because he has more experience than Perry. He's not as athletic as Perry, but he can run that run-pass option. He gives you an actual threat for a quarterback runner. Not, like I said, maybe not as much as Perry does, but definitely more than what Sheriff does. And with Sheriff, he's probably a little bit more, he's more athletic than Sheriff is, where Sheriff is more of a prototypical 6'5", stand in the pocket, stand there and deliver the football. But Rosier is able to move around a bit. So he's the least objectionable guy, I think. So I am comfortable with it. I would not be surprised if we do see a little bit of N'Kosi Perry this season. You know, we're going to see him.
Yeah, I heard a lot about this kid Perry, man. I mean, I haven't been out to any of the practices, but everyone, you know, amongst the Canes fam that we communicate with, everyone's just like drooling over this kid because of his potential. And I understand that he's been doing pretty well in camp as well. But I also remember one particular game for Malik Rosier happened at Duke in 2015. He was 20 of 29, 272, 2 touchdowns, and that was the game with the 8 laterals. So I have fond memories of him in that game, and I remember he was pretty accurate for most of that afternoon. So I have seen this kid before, and if Mark Richt says, hey, this is who we're going to go with, I'm really comfortable with this kid as well. Has he improved, in your opinion, JT, from what you've seen since that day against the Blue Devils, and does he have that calm demeanor like a Brad Kaya did behind center for the UM?
Well, see, that's the thing. He's not Brad Kaya in that regard. I mean, in a lot of different respects, he's not Brad Kaya. He's Malik Rosier, and that's an okay thing because again, he is a pretty good athlete. He is someone that has a strong enough arm to make the throws down the field, and his accuracy has improved. That's something that Coach Richt pointed to in his words today after making the announcement that it would be Rosier. He said that his accuracy was something. He pointed to his accuracy, said that he improved on that. His poise showed great poise. I mean, if you look at his stats, I'm talking about Rosier's stats through the 2 fall scrimmages that they've had so far, and he's done well. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's thrown touchdown passes. He's thrown a nice amount of yards. His completion percentage was definitely respectable. So you can see he's taken hold of that number 1 spot, and I think that's what Coach Richt ultimately wanted to see. Who would be the guy that would take the reins of this offense, take the reins of that number 1 quarterback spot, and lead this team? Because the pieces are there. I mean, we've had conversations before, Jeff, that I would favor the University of Miami in every game except one, and that's at Florida State. And that one's just going to be just a knockdown, drag-out fight, I think. But I would favor them in all the other games this season.
You know what? The last few times we've taken up our bumps against the Seminoles, but at some point, man, at some point we got to get them. At some point we got to beat Florida State, and I think that this year's defense, and from what I'm reading in all the national publications and locally as well, this defense for the Canes is going to be special. And when you've got, a vicious defense like that, one thing it can do for you is keep you in games against teams that are considered slightly better or above where you are. I think Miami's going to go up there and give them a fight. And I'm very confident with this defense finally having some real big hitters on the other side of the football. Are you still hearing the same thing?
Yeah, without a doubt. And Coach Manny Diaz, defensive coordinator, he's come in and done just an exceptional job. I mean, he's done such a great job that you begin to fear, like how much longer are we going to have him? We being the University of Miami, because he's doing such a great job turning that unit around. I mean, developing guys. I mean, making the most of what he has and just really turning them loose and putting out a great defensive unit. I mean, they showed improvement in just about every major statistical category this past season, including being one of the country's top defenses in tackles for loss. So you're expecting the same kind of thing this coming season. So, defensively, Miami is legit. That's the reason why so many people are favoring them in just so many games this season and looking so highly upon UM is because of that defense, especially the front seven. So, the defense is going to keep them in every game without that.
Offensively, we still got the kids, the young wide receiver as well, Amon Richards, who I absolutely love. Making a lot of preseason watch lists as well. And Mark Walton, who a lot of eyes will be on and could be in line for some big plays for the Hurricanes offensively as well. Talk about those guys and what makes them so special.
Well, they're both your quintessential South Florida guys. I mean, with Mark Walton coming from right here, Dade County, Miami, Booker T, Washington, and Amon Richards coming from Palm Beach. These are your quintessential South Florida UM-bound kind of guys. These are the guys that UM was built on, guys like that were born and bred right here in South Florida and then went on to start for the Hurricanes. And you see with Mark Walton, I mean, you're talking about a guy he brings complete back. He can definitely run the ball. He's a very good receiver out of the backfield. You can even split him out wide in certain situations. He's good in run, pass protection. I mean, so he's a total package, and he plays with a swagger and a determination about him to where he won't be denied, and that's something you got to love. And you cheer for the kid. I mean, especially losing his mother recently, just having a child recently. So he's definitely motivated, and you want to see him do well and go on. And with Mark Richt, you're talking about a guy, blazing speed, came out the gate so strong, so fast this past season as a true freshman. And, the sky's the limit for him. Now, I know he's been dealing with like a nagging hamstring injury here recently, but once he gets over that and he's able to be as close to 100% as possible, he's definitely going to be Miami's number one receiver, at least number one receiving option this year if he doesn't finish that way. Statistically speaking, he's still going to be the number one option in the passing game, even though more people are going to be keeping their eye on him on Richard when it comes to game planning this year.
Follow him on Twitter, folks, at JT Wilcox Sports. JT Wilcox on the Jeff Fox Show. And, man, it's like we're returning to the glory days, and more than just one. When I look at the fact that I understand the Canes are negotiating with the Alabama Crimson Tide on resuming the rivalry or the annual game. So what can you tell me about that?
Well, it's something that'll be great, and I think that will be a great recruiting tool trying to get into that Chick-fil-A opening weekend game like Alabama's playing Florida State in this season here. So that would be a great thing for the University of Miami. Like I said, an outstanding recruiting tool because now you're playing prime time against one of the best college football programs we have under Coach Nick Saban in Alabama. So being there, standing toe-to-toe with them, then that means also University of Miami is up at that level as well. They're not going to take that game if they feel like, all right, we're not just going to go there and be, put ourselves on a platter to be slaughtered by Alabama. We're going to that game because we feel we can compete, we feel we can win. So that lets you in on the plan and the vision that Coach Richt has for this program, that they're going to get ready to try to stand toe-to-toe with an Alabama and some other great programs that they have games scheduled with down the line. So, again, that's the Mark Richt effect, and that should excite, because that means he knows that the University of Miami will be at that upper echelon elite level come that year.
Of course, JT, there's a lot of news going around the NFL in regards to players protesting and standing up, current state of affairs in the country right now. The whole Colin Kaepernick situation, the NFL protest downtown New York tomorrow. Do you think we'll see similar protests in college football? And how are some of the universities, if that has been discussed, going to react to that? What do you think the Canes would do? Or have they made any type of statement in regards to something like that?
Well, they haven't made any statements regarding it recently. I know last year when Colin Kaepernick was going initially, it was a bit of a topic that I'm sure was broached within the program. And every program will handle it differently. But as far as at the college level, I think players will be much more hesitant to do so because they're still operating under the auspices of being amateur athletes. They're still under the auspices of their university, their program. So, it's not as though they're their individual brands. Colin Kaepernick is Colin Kaepernick, just the brand of Colin Kaepernick, who he is, the professional athlete, the professional football quarterback. So that's just him. He's not necessarily doesn't have to remain under the office of the San Francisco 49ers because he's not right now. So whereas where you're talking about collegiate athletes, they at least for 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years may be working under being just labeled under that program, and they would have to answer to that, no matter what their stance is, what the university stance is, whether they pro or con, they would have to answer to that. So I think you'd be a lot less likely to see it at the collegiate level. So it's something that I don't think we probably would have to worry about too much.
All right, he's JT Wilcox. Folks, once again, follow him on Twitter at JT Wilcox Sports. Thanks for joining us, JT, man. Appreciate joining us on short notice. And looking forward to September 2nd, my friend, when it gets going for real.
All right, Jeff. Thanks so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
It affects your football team because they're young black men.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flo.
You are in the driver's seat, in complete control, in life and on the road. Your driving record is impeccable, and for this, you are greatly rewarded with Snapshot from Progressive. You use your savings to buy a World's Best Driver t-shirt. It runs a little small.
The more righteous you drive, the more you can save with Snapshot from Progressive. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or